Hi everyone. Fem, can you give me a microphone check, please? Thank you. Hi everyone. We were experiencing some internet difficulties, but I believe we got it fixed up now. I'm just checking to see if the mic is working. Pardon? Good? Right on. Thank you. So with this one, it's titled Part 2 because the last live I did a few days ago, uh, it began to be pretty lengthy, and I do have a long list of topics and subjects. So hopefully I'll get through them all on this one. If not, if it gets too long, I'll do another one. And so yeah, as you can see, the the spheres of light there, yeah, all up there. The camera is switched, so it's interesting. So lots of things going on. We ended off the last one right around. Let me look at my list here. Your empathic abilities. At the same time that there is a lot of energy out there. So what we look at is perhaps one of the best ways to look at this is to look at Gaia all around the world, and that there's an energetic field, aura of Gaia, Earth herself, that you are part of and that you feel. So with this, what occurs, to keep it simple, hold on for a minute, I got an itchy ear. So to keep it simple, everyone, the more stronger you become as an energetic empath, the more the more you feel the outside energies that are generated by ones. So ones that are arrogant, obnoxious, in the fear spectrum yet, and the ones that have anger, they generate out into the energetic environment negative energy, and we call that density. It's yucky, heavy energy. And the thing is, what has been generally occurring with the Great Awakening, you have a small group relative to the overall population that are the empaths, more sensitive, and that are increasing their divine abilities. And part of those divine abilities is the ability to feel energy and to transmute it and all of the other divine applications we do with it. But where this group is so small, and this group, if you will, of unawakened ones and not ones uh, doing any part of their spiritual development yet, it creates quite a bit of negative energy. So then you have the few up here, even though we're very powerful at any given time, you have us feeling this huge energy. And at times of great fear and times of wars, there is more of this negative energy that is generated, not only by those not awake, but also by those that have not done enough inner work yet in the heart space so that they're not acting out of the old conscious lower dimensional behavior. Um, so overall, this is part of what we are contending with the ascension evolution of Gaia into this new big place of all joy, happiness, harmony, and no more fear. So we're still in between getting this done yet. So this is why I'd said where we left off with the other one that there are two things occurring simultaneously. One, your empathic abilities at feeling energy is increasing, and two, that at times the resistance, the darkness creates fear. What's the word? fear propaganda in the least, if you will, and fear events to create more fear. Because the truth is that the actual um, remnants of darkness, they cannot exist in this joyous world. They can only exist in a fear based world. So to keep their world alive, they will, and to the best of their ability, attempt to create fear events to also keep one's in the past enslaved and controlled and more manageable. But the overall divine plan in the ascension is the priority, meaning that it's futile and in vain what the darkness does, because eventually we break through with all of the divine souls that are going to the new world. So, but it's still that process we're in. What I need, I'm going to go down my list. So I'm beginning where we left off last time. The next thing, what I'm going to say here, is about marijuana use. And what I say with this, these are all tools like ayahuasca, marijuana. These are tools that ones during their spiritual journey will utilize and use. And yes, they're very beneficial. However, they're also connected to the consciousness. And I'm just going to touch on this lightly, that the effects upon a feminine marijuana user compared to a masculine marijuana user are different. And what the feminine will find is that she will be more adversely affected than the masculine. And part of the reason for this, the masculine are mostly in the consciousness. So, uh, having said that, once the masculine's consciousness has reached such a level of Christ consciousness or higher consciousness, then with the masculine, by having a marijuana, if you will, what it will tend to do is also have an adverse effect upon them because of the simple reason their consciousness has attained a level that the marijuana can no longer enhance or push up higher. And where the consciousness has attained a level higher than what the marijuana can assist with, then if they smoke marijuana, they actually lower their consciousness. With the masculine, because of because most of the masculine is in the consciousness, yet it doesn't affect them as much as it does the feminine. So with the feminine, the story is completely different because of the womb space and procreation, but also creation. And what the divine feminine needs to know, that in your womb space there are the natural DMT transmitters and receptors, receivers. Now, this is important also because the divine feminine secretes more of the natural DMT than a masculine does. So her anatomy is different than a masculine. And this natural DMT is mostly active during the time of childbirth, but it's also connected to the unconditional love and the maternal instincts from the old human that is in there. Now, this DMT is a natural DMT. It's also a DMT that is divine. Now, when you enter into a feminine DMT from a plant, from marijuana or what have you, what occurs with the feminine, because she is more sensitive, she is affected into the womb space and mostly the sacral area, which is closest to the womb. And what this does with the feminine's energy It also then affects the consciousness, but it can also drop her energetic field into energetic, erratic energetic emissions, distortions, spiking, and fluctuating as well. And with the individual, if we take a feminine, when that occurs, then the outside reality will not be harmonized and not be in balance to the degree that it could have been as well. But again, it depends upon this level of consciousness, whatever it may be. So it's important for the feminine to know that smoking marijuana has more of an adverse effect upon you than the masculine, as a rule of thumb. Of course, there are exceptions with everything, but this is a general guideline. So once your consciousness has reached such a state, any can confirm this for themselves. If you're still pleasurably having marijuana, if you will, then just observe what's occurring when you have it and compare the aftermath and compare your reality and what's occurring to see, if it is having an adverse effect on you. So this is with your own, to look at your own self with doing it, if it is having an adverse effect. So being conscientious about this knowledge, then, it gives you some more information to work with, to evaluate yourself. Everyone wants to do the good and most beneficial things. So again, by being more informed, the quicker that you do advance, and the quicker you're able to control your own advancement as well. So it's not I to tell you to stop smoking marijuana or things, but it's, for I to just say you look at it yourself, and you will confirm it if you need to stop, or if it's still all right for you to have it. But I just give a little bit more information on what occurs, and also, this is not coming off of the top of my hat, if you will. This is by much experience. I interact with many over the years, and I observe, and I'm what you call a divine anthropologist, if you will, to this respect, that I observe behaviors and behavioral patterns, because everything is energy, and every action and how one's behave has an energetic imprint, and I read energy. So for I know what I say is true, but also there's the exceptions of the rule that does occur. So I'll just have a look to see. Hi everyone. So I began rambling right out of the gate. And greetings, everyone. Hi. Um, work I do more. Let me just look, see what's here. If you're asking a question, anyone, please put a question mark on the end so I can know if it's just a comment or a question. It makes it easier for I going through. Thank you. Uh, yeah, all right. I'm not sure if that's one. Elizabeth Walsh, I believe I just explained if it's not the same for the feminine. There's much more adverse. All right, just checking here. Don't think I see any questions yet. I think I saw something from Elizabeth before it changed. You can confirm these things for yourself. She's asking, would it be the same like micro dosing? Well, again, that is with yourself to confirm the effects, to, see how much you can tolerate if you want. But there's also the codependency upon it. And this is another important aspect. If you're depending upon the plant DMT, it only contains enough information, more so for this reality for the plant, which I mean that your natural DMT, which is produced as well by the pineal gland that's opening, this is more of a transportation and transformative natural DMT substance that you have that is also connected to your multidimensional abilities. So when you look at something like a psychedelic will take the consciousness, let's say, into other just conscious dimensional experiences. But with your own natural DMT, you take your actual physical vessel in your energetic field into the other reality. So there is the difference with it. And what I suggest for ones, you don't wish to create a dependency on something that is lesser than what you are. So that's why I'm saying each one to their own. Monitor the own effect, your own effects when you have marijuana, but also know that you experiment with, stopping it or whatever you do to confirm this for yourself. So, with that, yeah, I'm in Romania. Have you heard of gang stalking? Yeah, in the old Telegram channel. That's sometimes I publish it. It's a Rick Jewers. Just forget replacement channel. I believe you can just Google it. If not, send me a private message. I'll send it to you. And what else we got here? What else do we got here? Corey asking about ley lines and plasma energy holding. How is the ley lines holding up? Well, the ley lines are growing the network, yeah, and becoming more extensive. And where you ask this question and where I'm on it, I'll elaborate because I did have this wrote down. So just to give a quick Cole's Notes version, perhaps, on the topic of ley lines and how things work. So we take Gaia, the round Gaia, round Earth, if you will. What occurs with to hold the Earth in a dimensional place and time, there is energetics that does this, energetic ley lines. But with these ley lines, it also dictates what occurs in reality. So all of these ley lines, to keep it simple, were figured out, let's say, millennium ago, by the darkness, and they come to find that there were energetic lines all around Earth. So they figured this out, and part of what the darkness did is they knew enough that they could influence a ley line which would oscillate outwards the polarity of reality. So, by, let's say, with child sacrifices right on this ley line, it would create a whole bunch of fear that would ripple outwards in reality. And by doing this constantly, they were able, they had compromised the creational 3D ley line system of Gaia herself to also use it for their benefit to keep generating fear out into the populace to enslave and control humanity. Uh, so, also with this, because they were abusing the creational ley line system, and also what they had done was compromised it. Now, every every mineral and gas and oil, what is in the ground, has what you call an in situ electromagnetic electric charge. These metals and quartz is very important, but these metals and fossil fuels, they are all charged. So when you begin to extract these out of Gaia, and you extract with a lot of mining gold and pyrites, and well, pyrites usually don't, but gold, silver. When you begin to extract all of these conductors from Earth, what you begin to do is these static charges keep the ley lines that run just above the Earth in place. But if there's no longer a mineral deposit that has an electrical charge below it, the ley lines will begin to waver. And what occurred in 2012, enough resources were taken out of in situ, spread out all around the world. There was nothing significant to hold the ley line. So what occurred in November 18th to November 23rd in linear time of 2012, the Earth flipped her poles. But at the same time, what occurred, all of humanity was transported to the fourth dimensional Gaia that was already ready and prepared. So, for the most part, most everyone on the planet are oblivious to what exactly occurred. But this doesn't matter. It's just to give you a bit of background onto it. And part of the reasoning why the 5D grid is being constructed. So the 5D grid is being constructed through the abstract etheric multi-dimensional reality, and it's being fused and fastened into the physical manifest on Earth. So what we have been doing, the existing ley line system on Earth right now was fourth dimensional, but we have the bigger network of the fifth dimension over it, bringing it in to be the main ley line system for reality that's all divine and positive, and this is your new world. So what it does, this new ley line system cannot be compromised nor diminished. Let's say it's the old ley line system was mostly based on triangles and could be figured out very quickly. This new ley line system is very advanced, and it cannot be compromised in any way because of the basis of what it is, without going into detail. So it is very important, and there are new primary ley lines, but as a result of primary ley lines, there's also the secondary and tertiary nodes and ley lines that are organically produced as a result of making the new ones. So what we had to do also with the chakras, the past known chakras of Gaia, we had to move most of all of them. So there's only perhaps two, maybe three that stayed in the same place. And the reason we had to move what was believed and known as these old chakras is because of they were also compromised with the energy. Now, ones may go to some of these chakras, but because they are a co-creator and have a strong belief, they may create an experience that shows that it's still there. But what I'm saying is that some of these are not there, and that you could be just creating your own experience, if you will. So I don't want to go much further into that. What I can say is we have some more construction to do with the 5D ley line, but also what occurs congruently and dependent upon the advance of the ground crew and all of the light workers and the awakening as well. So, meaning that there are times we can activate more nodes, but there are times we must wait for the collective consciousness to begin to acclimatize to the new reality that it's creating. So this is creation, what I'm speaking about, and it's important, even if ones do not know uh, what they are doing, just by reading it and having the intent to do it, uh, it is done. Your soul will recognize it if your consciousness doesn't. The genuine intent of your soul, and if you see these posts come up, the reason you see them up is because you're to participate in them when they resonate, and if they resonate, which for the right ones they do. Now, also with these white light, the 5D grid, because the ones of you that have activated your multidimensional abilities, you are consciously, when you know this, no longer constant in space and time. Now, what this also means with your consciousness, you are able to do divine applications beyond the reach of linear time, which includes, let's say, the last a couple days ago, I put that post out. We had to do some more light nodes, but if you don't read it till today, you just automatically apply and add your energy 2 days ago back to it. So, and then it is done in real time as well without making this complicated on how things really work. But to keep it simple for you, you transcend all space and time, meaning in your consciousness, if you go back in a bit of your past, if you will, or also forward, that if you think of it, once your consciousness has developed enough, and your trust and your belief in the purity of your heart, you actually are energetically there, if you will. So it's very, very real. So just to keep that a little bit simple, instead of explaining books, that and information on it. So, Master Rule, the Illuminary or something. What am I doing so long? Romania is a very, they ask what am I doing so long in Romania. Romania is a very important place, and also especially for this ascension. Many things have been preserved here and preordained as well for this great time. So many reasons. Um, Not sure what, Joanna, what you're asking. What works through electrics and chemicals? Uh, Sandra may answer that. Yeah, there's a little bit. I'm just going to continue on some of the points. I see many questions coming in. Just bear with me. Uh, in the chat, what occurs if too many questions come in, it got to keep scrolling, so makes it difficult. Uh, with these coughs, if you will, as well, and I think I mentioned that in the other one, coughs, mucus, and these sort of things, the pineal glands are opening further now, so it's causing phlegm, cough, mucus, things with the sinuses. Uh, Yes, you're, let's say, for ones in the northern hemisphere, these were typical seasonal sensations, and even with Poland and what have you. But what you will find is that even in the warmer climates, ones are experiencing these symptoms, which tells you that it's not climate related, that it's actually the individual, and what's occurring is the pineal gland is opening more. And as this pineal gland, for those of you that have it opened, as it opens more, it begins to secrete a substance down in the back of your throat that you may. I feel some coming now. Just hold on. I need to get a candy. Hold on. All right. A good, pretty natural eucalyptus candy that assists with the little uh, throat coughing. So where was I at here? Yeah. So these are symptoms that's associated with the pineal gland expansion, pressure in the head. Uh, it's important that on the top back of the head, the moms would know when you had a child, the child's soft spot. This can occur with ones of you just prior or around the time your pineal gland begins to open. Uh, so, with that, if you feel a soft spot, just be conscientious that it's there and be careful with your head. And it usually, perhaps at the most, maybe 2 weeks, it may be there before it heals over as well. So just be conscientious that it's part of your growth and your evolution in alignment with your ascension. And for some, it has occurred and they were oblivious that it was even there because it depends on the size of the individual. But you'll have like a soft spot. You can feel the skin, and there's no skull, if you will, underneath it. So it's a very odd feeling. So, yeah, all of these feelings discombobulated with the consciousness and dizzy spells. So, currently, um, Femke and I have been assisting some. And with this, one of the current symptoms, if you will, is the dizzy spells and these sort of things, vertigo. But as many can find that, if you do still go to a doctor, you'll find nothing is wrong with you in the test results because these are ascension symptoms. And you won't find anything because these are happening on a level where there's nothing wrong with your physical vessel. Everything is right. It's evolving. And that evolution internally is creating these symptoms that would not register within the orthodox medicine standards, if you will. Uh, so, what one thing I will say with this, several years ago, I did hear of a general practitioner that was awake, and a divine feminine just beginning her journey was having all these symptoms, and he went to her just to get checked up, but he was awake, and he said, I'm not prescribing you anything because you're just going through your spiritual awakening, if you will, with these symptoms. So he said, there's nothing wrong, and I don't want to give you anything. But having said that, he was awake to know that there wasn't anything wrong with her. So that was very good. as an example. Uh, Recently, I've been putting posts up and steering the theme towards the importance of forgiveness again. And forgiveness is so important for yourself. And to keep it as simple, forgive yourself openly every time you speak out loud. It's more productive. It has more of an impact upon your reality and you when you speak out loud. Uh, for the simple reason, uh, with your co creator status, you are also programming and transmitting out in your reality these commands, and in this case, forgiveness. And what it does, it changes the polarity of the energy, at least in your field. So, forgiveness is very important for you and also any others that you had, let's say, uh, yes, bodily harmed, but any way that you might have done something immoral, might have accused someone of something they didn't do, and you. So these sort of things, it's important to know that with them verbally, if you've done anything that you feel in your heart wasn't right, to do the forgiveness with them and to speak it out. Uh, Preferably in person, but if not in the physical, on the on the phone or the social, have a conversation and you want to express that forgiveness. It's an important energetic detachment from the past because all of these things that you're asking forgiveness for have, if you do, have already occurred. They're in the past, but it's important to sever yourself from the past, to bring yourself clean, unattached to the past into the now, because you're going forward. But if you don't do this forgiveness, it acts as an energetic anchor and keeps you back into the past. But because of the energy with it, it keeps looping and attracting the same sort of things. And then you'll find yourself in a limbo and not moving forward with discovering and experiencing the new magical things. So it acts as an anchor as well. So it's important to know this and the actual effects of it. And with this, your prayers, your affirmations, your mantras, all of these are very important and they are productive and they do assist in you going forward, and they're good tools to use as well. Um, so, uh, going down the list here, I'm going to have a look at some questions, and my next thing will be about different beliefs and that's out there, and I'll go on that topic and about the separation that it causes and how it's meant to cause those as well. So I'll put some more insight on that. Let me look here a little bit. Just go back, see what questions are here. Sherry Brooks asks, Mount Chakra or Mount Shasta still the root chakra? I would say no in this case, but I believe we had to reposition that to, we had to switch some things around, but no, I don't believe it's still there. And then you say Shasta, the heart chakra, no. Uh, Mount Shasta is still a very important multi-dimensional portal in connection and does have its benefits in the least. So, Carolyn asks, what are your guides doing with your left eye? Well, for most, in the beginning, it'll be your right eye that will take on more of the multi-dimensional sight and being connected to the pineal gland. Your third eye actually becomes your two eyes as one, seeing multi-dimensional, connected to the feedback of the pineal gland. So you don't grow another eye up here. Your third eye is your two eyes becoming multi-dimensionally activated. Now, for a lot, uh, with the right side, the right hemisphere of the brain is what began to change first in the awakening. So also the eye on the right side was more connected directly to the right side of the brain, not across. So what occurred is that you'll have the right eye will be different and advanced further uh, forward. So now your left eye, if you will, is just catching up for any like that. And any of you might have noticed with your pupils when you began to go into the awakening that one would be a different size than the other. Now, you know, there is what they would call with Orthodox medicine that they were things with your eyesight, but in the Ascension Orthodox medicine doesn't apply. It has a different meaning. So I will say that. All right. Just going to see if there's any more questions here so I can keep up. Elizabeth Walsh, last time she had a meditation, she got colored vibrating lines out of her peripheral. So she's asking part of the pineal opening. There's many things that could cause this. It may not be. It depends on what you were participating in and what was going on. Let me say there was a lot of the old nefarious frequencies and put them all in a frequency fence type of things that were being done on Earth, which had so many byproducts from these things as well. So to accurately pinpoint more exactly what it was, there would need to be more detailed information. And with that, I am not going to have an extensive into that right now, an extensive comment. Uh, so, all right, no more questions. I'll move on to so different belief systems cause separation. You know, overall in this ascension, everyone is striving and going for a place where everyone is like them, you know, that thinks the same and feels the same. But also, what's occurring is that over the course of time, there's been so many tributaries of belief systems and projections that went out there, and all of the different belief systems can make it confusing on what to follow going forward. So, with the simple solution for that is you believe in God, in your spark of God, keep that connection to the God out of here, if you will, the external God. That is your lifeline in direction out of here. Uh, as part of the spiritual development, ones will begin to believe that they are the god, the goddess, you know, having an experience in this world, which is perfectly fine. But that is part of their development before they actually meet the full real creator, what it be God, prime creator, Vishnu, what have you. So it's part of one's evolution and development in their journey to do this. So you need to basically know somewhat most of the God inside of you before you can find and connect with the actual uh, supernatural conscious entity, God itself, outside of you. So, so this is important to know. But again, with the there's so many different belief systems out there. There's what one's called false light. There's so many different perspectives on it. But also, we got many layers, levels of consciousness in this ascension. And this is also creating many different truths, if you will. And truths are assigned to beliefs. So as we go forward, what I say for all is that even truth is not constant. So don't restrict yourself to a constant truth. You need to observe objectively and be open so that you more readily advance the higher levels of truth. And you know what I use as a an example is we're here, but before you were awakened, you didn't know that there was a higher truth, that you were being deceived. You were asleep. You didn't know this. So, but down here, you believed this was the only truth of the world. But once you awaken, you come to find out, whoa, no, that is not a truth any longer. That's now a deception or a lie. But what I'm saying, it's not the only truth because each level has higher truths and higher dynamics associated with it. So it becomes important. Don't let beliefs separate and divide you as well. Keep together with that one common goal, unity, and going forward with the one common goal. And the reason why this is as well, you don't want to get separated because of you child childishly. You don't want to get separated because if you do, it weakens the whole ascension movement forward. And separation as well is one of the dark tactics to interject different beliefs to keep ones all separated so then they're easily managed by the remnants of the darkness. So it's wise not to let beliefs keep you separated, come together with the one common goal. We're ascending the planet to to great joy, if you will, in alignment with God. And the simpler that you can keep it without saying and pointing fingers to someone else, you're wrong. You need to understand that there's many teachers for different levels of consciousness. And as many of you can attest on this journey, ones will come and ones will go. So as you complete levels as well, there are new ones that will come in. So it doesn't really mean that anyone is wrong. It's just your level of consciousness where you're at and going forward. Everything has a value, whether it may seem wrong or not. It's all about going forward. But again, there is the strength in the numbers, and it's important that everyone begins following their divine guidance. What is harmonious? What is in unity? What are the virtuous things? What is the purity? What is the most sensible things to do? And keep in alignment with those rather than being distracted to the waysides by so many different beliefs that can have you stagnant because you become so confused and not moving forward. So you need to be aligned with something forward. If not, you just keep looping and stay in stagnation. So I touched on that. Let me check here again. You keep. Hold it, Bridget. Maybe another one. Just hold on a minute. Brina um, feels disconnected. That's common, and to get into uh, the disconnected feeling, you're never disconnected. However, during one's journey, there comes the important time when they feel they're disconnected and they need to be to go down in to do part of their divine role or to get more of their lessons. See, if you're connected to divinity, then you would surf. You would not get these necessary lessons. So, at very important times, if you will, ones at the soul level will be divinely cut from your connection, what it would feel like, so that you're able to descend down into the lower energetic environment to get your tests done. So these are only temporary when you feel that. And really, you're never totally disconnected. It's just the sensation that you are, but really, you're not. So keep that simple. Um, Christina, bloated stomach. Yes, I got some tea where you were doing. Yeah, you're speaking about fasting. I soon got to do that myself. I've been eating a lot of natural peanut butter and put on a lot of protein and fat from the oil that's in the peanut butter. So I got to soon do some things, but there's also the physical bloating, what is occurring, which is indicative of a major timeline being birthed. So there is that bloating, that expansion with it until it is birthed. Now, having said that, physically, uh, ones will have this reflected into your actual physical. The ones that are more connected with Gaia, Earth, and creation as well, because it's part of your co creation abilities to feel and with your sensations what is occurring. So, ones that are connected to Mother Earth will, when Mother Earth, Gaia, and what we're doing when we begin to get ready for another timeline, there is like a birthing process, and you will also perhaps get labor pains with it. And if one of you looked at this, what was written in the Bible a couple thousand years ago, what Jesus said and what others said, it would be like birthing pains in this time. And when you look at that, you will see that, yes, many birthing pains, birthing like symptoms, false births, these things in this time, because it is the time, and this has been written about as well. So you can find a reference to that, interestingly enough, if you go and look at that in the past. So, yeah, bloating. Uh, what else we got here? Chemtrails used to dull our ascension. Let's say in some areas, let's say the sulfur, the oxides, the sulfates, and things that are coming out of there, and aluminum, of course. Uh, let's say these are able to be done with the chemtrails in a low density area, and I believe you're in the US. And in the US, there's a lot of heavy energy, as you know. So, where it's a lot of density and aggression as well, and fear in the US, when you look at the huge population and everything that is occurring, there, you know, even with fires, unprecedented floods, and all of the animosity and the racism and these sort of things. It creates an energetic environment that is very dense. So then you have the darkness with the chemtrails are able to put them over that area. So they will be prevalent until you have enough awakened in doing their inner work there to do this. Now don't I'm not saying that there is not a lot awakened there, but you look at the extreme population of 340 million, and if you've got a few 100,000 light workers in the US, or you know, that's not many overall, and they've got their hands full trying to raise the vibration. At the same time, you got the whole political arena and all of these lower density things that most of the people are supporting, yet it's making it dense. So reality in the US is dense because the energetic environment is ideal for these chemtrails and things to continue. For example, where we are at in Romania with what you would call contrail, I've only seen maybe in the last 8 months or 9 months, I might have only seen three or four in the distance, but also where we're at, usually they cannot, if there is any of that, they cannot release a trail when they come over our energetic environment. You'll see it will stop just before they get there, and the plane might go over, and once they get on the other side, it'll be a little bit. But overall, in Romania, and one of the strongest things is because we're the belief in God, but also their morality and in the heart where it's so strong. It's a different reality here, and it's much more heightened as well. So, and it's because the belief in God, and it's a different. See, the belief systems do make a difference, you know, in the countries, but we're looking at, you know, Romania, a small country, just only as big as you know, one of the bigger states perhaps of the U.S. Um, but having said that, very powerful in its faith, in the people's faith and trust in God, and that makes a whole different reality itself, but also because of the energetics there. So there's so many contributing factors. Uh, that's enough on that. Uh, what else do we have here? And the I believe I mentioned on that. If anyone is listening and you need individual assistance or guidance, or that you feel to, you can send I or Femke a private message on Facebook, and we can, you know, speak for an hour or two. We don't put a time limit on it, but generally, when we assist ones, there's so much information that, you know, sometimes it's a half an hour or an hour, because you don't want to get what we do. We don't want to inundate one with so much information, but also sometimes you have to do this step before you can do this one. So, you know, we'll give one's guidance. All right, this will assist, but you got to do this before we can give you any more, if you will. And sometimes, if you do this, then you don't even need any more guidance, because then you're on your way, you know, as well. So there's different things that occur. It's customized, what we do for the individual, and to make it as divinely streamlined and customized just for the individual. So having said this, looking at white mist that moves in front of me, always right to left. Yeah, this is and this is Bridget with your eyes. It's not random, no, spiritually happening. You will see also ones will begin to see more of the spirit world. You can see the smoke, the Holy Spirit, animals, spirit animals, what have you. So, what you don't want to do is restrict anything and just keep opening and keep observing and experiencing things without any fear. So, have full trust. So, yeah, and the physical eyesight does change, as I mentioned overall with this. What you're doing is you're taking this physical human body um, into a different form that is able to multi-dimensionally participate and interact. And to do that, you need the multi-dimensional eyesight, and this is why the eyes are affected with many symptoms as well. So I think that answered. You hear a lot of people talk about, is there an absolute truth? Yeah, the most absolute truth that that we, let's say we put the absolute truth out there, because with the absolute truth there is no distortion and there is no negativity in it. So this is at least the absolute truth that we're given for now. That what we speak about. But what I will say is that the absolute truth, most of the consciousness cannot comprehend that space yet. However, by giving this mentioning towards it, it is creating it as well. Just give me one moment, please. I need to just go to the washroom. No muting option on there. Ah, there we go. Something new every day. You don't see that in prime time live where someone's got to get up and go use the washroom, do you? But first time for everything. um, yeah, so great. Uh, to do. Okay, let me move on a little bit more with what I got here. Uh, Now, for any of you that were raising the quality of your vibration and raising your vibration overall, um, I did a heart heart preparation exercise that I put out, I don't know, about a week ago on the timeline, um, on the Facebook timeline here. for ones to begin to connect more with your heart, and also to begin to transfer the conscious knowledge into the heart and vice versa, because you wanted to create the navigation unit of consciousness and heart. And one of the simple reasons before, uh, the masculine would operate mostly on the consciousness without the heart, and vice versa, the feminine going with the heart feelings, and acting out of the heart. But what we wish to do now is to combine both as one navigational unit, which also needs to be done to connect and release into your consciousness more of the soul's heart's knowledge. So, in the seat of the soul, in the heart, is where the energetic knowledge is, and information is transferred into the knowledge. So, it's energetic. So, with this, by beginning to control your vibration, and what this does, see, if you don't in the past, it's erratic, and what it is lower vibration, and it succumbs to the outside lower vibrational reality, the polarity and the density. So, to keep it simple, negativity is low vibration, as you know, and positivity is high vibration, to keep it simple. So it's common sense. You don't need to be a rocket scientist or a metaphysicist to figure this out. Now, so to keep it simple though, by going into the heart space and getting both to activate it, so the heart can feel and can discern. But what you needed to do was to get as much as the distorted energetic feelings out of there as well, so that you're able then to raise the vibration. And by raising the quality of the oscillation and raising the vibration, then it gets reflected in your outer field, in your outer aura, or your outer field. Now, why this is so important, and I'll be writing this up also uh, as perhaps some further preparation. Physics is different within you and in your field. So, what you're going to be doing is accessing more of your divine abilities. But first, your heart and your vibration head to be raised. Your vibration creates sound harmonics, which then goes into frequency. So, by increasing the vibration, it increases the harmonics, the tone, then it increases the frequency, to keep it simple how it works. So there is more coming with that, and I won't give it all out here, uh, just to let you know some of the reasons why that heart preparation exercise was instrumental for this, of what is coming out soon. So, let me see what else we got on the list. So personal gifts are increasing. Telepathy is uh, one of the great ones I watch. The healing powers, and other abilities are coming online more for individuals. Healing, feeling the energies as the empath, your hands heating up, and so there are different transmitters and receivers that are being changed in your hands, in your feet, in your whole physical vessel. They're being enhanced. And with this comes the reason, is the gift, why this is occurring, so that your gifts become activated. To keep this simple, but they are increasing, and in individuals, and becoming uh, more widespread. To get into any particular gift, right at this time. I'll just leave it all open and say telepathy and the communication with animals as well is increasing. So now this brings me to the ascension overall. It's not set in stone, that, all right, we're doing this, we're ascending to this new world. And one of the reasons why there is variations, and sometimes you'll hear I say, like I did recently, that we did an ascension plan C that may be an option. One of the reasons is you got everyone here that were ascending, but as ones become stronger co creators with their choices and their decisions they make, it affects this outcome. And if they're able to be manipulated and distorted somewhat, then it creates a lot of chaotic flux. But we also are contending with what's occurring in the energetic environment of Earth, of Gaia. So when you're seeing all of these floods, volcano just in Hawaii today, in Italy a few days ago, you're seeing these unprecedented floods, um, stress activity on Gaia. It's created again because of a lot of resistance from the masses themselves with their choices to do the right things and not. And then you have, the darkness. So you have all this contributing to a stressful density. And at times, to keep it simple, the divine vanguard, if you will, we are not going to jeopardize ourselves as much to drop down into this lower density miasma, if you will, or mix that is so dense. So there comes a time, if we're to drop into there, we would jeopardize ourselves. There would be no ascension. So it's important for ones to go forward. And with a plan C, there might have been, and it's still an option, of only 8 million going forward for now into the new reality. That is only an option, but the last I got on that is that the benevolent divine galactic said, wait, we've got something in store. And I had put that out. So we're looking at some celestial galactic events, if you will, that may and will change things. Or, well, I shouldn't say may, it will. So with the overall ascension, again, we are going forward, and a lot are tired. We know this, and but the thing is, you do not die, and even though here it might seem like 10 or 20 years, to all of our existence, that is less than a blink of an eye, if you will. So even though it feels long here, the great rewards are coming, and the virtue of patience is so important. So stay with it and keep doing, everything as pure and good as you can, and keep alignment with the ascension and Mother, Father, God, and your guides and the angelic realms that are assisting to take you forward. So that's important. Um, so what I got a candy here. So, with the overall ascension, again, the beliefs are so important. And generally, what you need is a belief system that involves some sort of a new reality, in the least. So when we look at Christianity, it's already prepped to know of the new world, if you will, that God is giving. And in Islam, it's also known with a Mahdi subject in a new world, and Hinduism as well, what it currently put up, about the Kali, Satya Yuga. So in the major belief systems, it's been seeded. That direction, that inkling has been put in there that the time would come for the golden age, if you will. So, what this means is just the rest of humanity able to recognize what's occurring, because also, there was events like hail, floods, fires. These things were written about that are occurring now, and many phenomenon in the skies. Science is pretty busy at keeping up, trying to apply scientific theories uh, to a lot of this, but in actuality, uh, for ones that know, is no, these are the times. The signs are in the skies, definitely. So, having said this, with the belief system as well, once the ones will believe more that the time is now, if they can see it, but if they also feel that something has to be done, the world is too crazy, that is the divine incentive that can awaken them very quickly. So, nevertheless, it's again with the belief systems, because what you believe also you energize to contribute to its creation. And with, again, just quickly mentioning GPMS.World, which is the divine plan, it is the ascension. Once we get the majority belief in it, poof, you are done. Everyone is free, happy, forever and ever. But it's just getting ones broke out of the brainwashing the false narratives, and getting them all aligned together to do the one thing, which is their uh, humanity's full emancipation. And again, we'd love to get it done as soon as possible, but there's other factors and variables that we have been contending with. Uh, One thing I'll mention, so with the yogis, they're in India, and part of the Hindu overall Hindu beliefs is many different beliefs all put under the Hindu beliefs to, or under the Hinduism topic, if you will. But with that, it's the yogis are uh, conscious unity minded, which is very good. But the reason I'm looking at this is also because of the yogic astronomy, what they had used to calculate a Satya Yuga or Kali Yuga. One thing that if the certain yogis did not compensate for uh, the 2012 change, where celestial bodies actually change where they were at in the sky, what could be seen. So if they have not made accommodations for that new reality shift, then some of these may think that they got another 1,000 years of Kali Yuga. But the problem with that, if they're teaching others, then like this, then everyone's saying, what's the use to create the golden age if everyone's believing that it won't come for another 1,000 years? So you can see the problem with those beliefs that do that. So it's important to know what I put out with GPMS.World. This would not even be here now with the Hinduism, with the belief that the uh, Satya Yuga, if there wasn't that belief uh, in that as well, let's say GPMS would not be here. GPMS is God, no matter what you call God, Prime Creator, God, Allah, Vishnu, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. It's creation. But had to bring that up. So, again, everyone would like everyone to be the same as their self, but with that, you have your own unique identity. So it's just to be compatible with ones. And again, don't expect things from other ones. Don't expect that they need to believe what you believe now. You have the compassion and understanding that they'll come along, but there's also test periods. I do it. I'll put out something that may be controversial to a large group, but later they'll see no, it's a truth. So sometimes you've got to seed things, but mostly with your individual interactions, it's, to accept and allow, especially with your families that are not awakened yet. You need to understand that it's important not to try to put pressure on them to awaken, because it's only going to cause more negativity and conflict. So that is at your own discernment with it. So, although we would love everyone to be like the same as ourselves, there is that uniqueness, that identity that makes us, just a little bit different. But even if we're a little bit different, we can all come together for this one common goal that everyone does like and does want. So that's the common goal. But I'll have a look, see if there's any more questions there, because I pretty well finished it all up, what I was going to say in this one. Uh, Ruth says, will the eyesight balance out? Yes, it will. She said it's difficult to read text and drive at night with bright lights. Yes, our reality will change, and you may have, with the bright lights, will not, what's the word? Will not prefer them for a while yet, or driving at night and reading text. So you acclimatize to the way that you feel with it. But in the future, these things become no longer pertinent and do not influence what you're doing. So just don't let it get to you, if you will. Don't let it bother you, and just know it's part of the journey. And Bridget, seeing the mist, seeing dogs, a bit fuzzy, and that's great. Yeah, for seeing dog shapes as well, and of course in the clouds. One very exciting thing I'll just touch on before we end this is that there is a small group of divine comrades that we collaborate with each other, six, seven of us, that we collaborate. But what's been occurring, to share with you all recently, um, is with us. We are having what you would call dimensional bleed throughs, where birds, living birds mostly, even a rock or two, are going through dimensional, I'll put it, dimensional walls. So meaning that, let's say if I'm in Romania and one of these are in Ireland, there's the instant transportation of animate and inanimate objects, but it's not only there. We have it occurring in two other locations. So we have quite a, without disclosing that yet, we have four locations in Europe that are designated and interconnected, multi-dimensional, that we're beginning to see go through these wide dimensional walls instantly going through the walls, what is setting up for the actual physical bilocation abilities of the physical vessel and the ability to transport. See, where we're going also with this new Earth, you won't need an airplane or what have you. You would be just like if anyone watched the used to be a Star Trek, a New Generation might have been, where the guy Q, poof, he would just appear. He didn't need any ship or what have you. But also with your multi-dimensional abilities, you have what we call this bilocation transporting ability. Once you are, it's been activated enough, and if it's divinely approved that you can experience and others can do it here. But what I say, it is very real, and we transcend all space and time. But importantly, to be seeing this activated and working in real time, in reality here and now, and getting confirmations that this is very indicative of uh, this great ascending time that we're in, but also in working with groups energetically. And again, it's the unity that creates this. And as I said, darkness, they always have tactics to separate, to divide, because once you come together, and this has also been written with Jesus, where two or more gather, miracles happen. And this is true because it's all about energy. And this is one of the things that the remnants of darkness were afraid of, because when all of humanity comes together in alignment with God and good things, poof, there is no more darkness. It cannot exist in that world. So it's important to know this as well. So just to share with you, very exciting, and yes, we're experiencing, observing, monitoring, and logging what is occurring with this. So objectively, and we are not creating so much ourselves with direct creation into it. We are more so holding this multi-dimensional spaces for it to occur uh, organically as a result of our fields, and it's happening, if you will, on its own for the most part, without us putting any great intentional effort into it. So it's very magical and very beautiful and very real. And it's very beautiful because more are experiencing it to confirm it and attest to it. So it's not just Rick saying, all right, this is happening. There's other witnesses. And I always love this. And the same as with any of you, that are experiencing these things. It's important to share it out there publicly because it's real, and I can back any of you up on it, because I know all of these multi dimensional experiences are real. Excuse me. And I've experienced them many times as well, and they're very cool, very fun. And I was just sharing with Femke tonight how one time, I and a divine feminine, we were in Saskatchewan. We were picking chanterelle mushrooms, and there was this hill like this. So the first day we had picked on this side. So the next day we're walking down this side, and all of a sudden, poof, instantly we're put on the other side of the hill. So it's these type of experiences. Once you experience it, it's very cool, and it happens instantaneous. And we'll get reports over the years, and some of you might have been, uh, might have that are watching might have also, we shared the experiences where you would go in perhaps your small little town, and you would see there'd be a new store there that wasn't there yesterday or something. But you entered another timeline as an example, and then you could go back the next day and the store is gone again. And so it's funny with these occurrences, but the thing is, they're very real. It's not the imagination. So cool. With that, we got it all done in an hour and a half. So I feel on the Telegram channel, perhaps soon, I'll be doing a discussion. I keep so busy, I haven't done one on there connecting for with others for perhaps a couple weeks, but everything that we and I do are just so busy, uh, constantly, divinely, with what I do. So we'll see. So with that, big love, namaste, and peace, love, light, and gratitude, and have a great day. Thank you.